What's up, Faith Fam? I am outside today. Yes, I have left the comfort of my room because the time is hot and I just needed a change in environment. If you guys enjoy this video, and please pray that the breeze don't blow down my tripod because that's what's about to happen right now. So yeah, just let's keep our fingers crossed that doesn't happen. So if you see me going back and forth, that's the wind, and I hope you guys can hear me too, right? So the topic that I want to talk to you guys about today is minding your social media tongue. That might sound kind of funny, but yeah, we are living in a world right now where it is as social as it gets. It is as virtual as it can get, and there are so many things happening, and there are so many things that we have to say about what's happening, you know, and everyone in their own right just feels so passionate about the things that are taking place right now in our world, in our society, in our homes, and it's so easy to pick up a phone or to go on your laptop and just voice all of those concerns, voice how you feel, you know, even raise some issues as well, you know, spark conversation. It's so easy to do that now, and the reason why it's so easy to do that is because no one has to see a face. No one has to see the person behind this voice. No one has to know. And I think that has its place, but it is also a dangerous thing. And you know, when I read the scripture, the first thing that came to my mind was, what does my social voice sound like? What is my social tongue saying? And that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. So the scripture that I read was James chapter 3, where it talks about controlling the tongue. And it says, "Dear brothers and sisters, not many of you should become teachers in the church, for we who teach will be judged more strictly. Indeed, we all make many mistakes. For if we could control our tongues, we would be perfect and could also control ourselves in every other way. We can make a large horse go wherever we want by means of a small bit in its mouth, and a small rudder makes a huge ship turn wherever the pilot chooses to go." Okay? "Even though the winds are strong, like the winds that's threatening to blow down my tripod. In the same way, the tongue is a small thing that makes grand speeches." And I'll just pause right there. Now, this is the thing, guys. We can't control our tongues. We cannot control the things that we say, especially, and I'm contextualizing this for social media. As I would have mentioned before, we feel so passionate, and we just want to say what's on our mind. I was listening to this podcast the other day, entitled Focus on the Family. Excellent podcast. I'd really recommend that you guys, you know, listening to it. And the host was saying that sometimes when persons are responding to issues, the tone behind what they're saying on social media is different from when you pick up the phone and say, "Hey, what's up?" Like, you know, the tone is always so different. And I think in the context of social media, we have to be careful of controlling the tongue. We have to be careful of not only what we say, but how we say it, because we do not know the weight that our words carry. We don't understand how impactful what we say, how impactful what we say can be. There was a student in the podcast who asked the question, is it okay to evangelize on social media? Or how effective do you think, he was asking the host, how effective do you think evangelizing on social media is? And he said, that's very, it can be very effective, but you have to be careful because social media is a place where persons just post and ghost, right? You get so passionate and you say something about a certain topic and you leave it there, and unless you delete it, right, it stays there and it circulates and it goes viral. And the scripture gives us two examples of how easily the tongue can misguide and cause a lot of problems. The first example was with the horse, right? So you have a horse. A horse is a powerful animal. Everybody knows pretty much a good amount of information about horses, right? But it says you can make a horse go wherever you want it to by a means of a small bit in its mouth. So with this small thing, you can maneuver this great horse wherever you want it to go. And the second one was with a tiny spark, you can set a great forest on fire, right? It is the same way that the tongue is like a small spark that can set can set a great forest on fire. Now, what is that saying to us? It's saying that small thing that you have in your mouth, it has the power to do a lot of things, right? It has the power to either uplift someone or tear someone down, right? It has the power to speak life into someone's life. It has the power to condemn somebody. Really consider, what has my social voice sounded like these past months or this past year? And if you go back, if you take the time to backtrack and you realize that, boy, it hasn't been sounding that nice. It hasn't been, there's no value, I can't say that I have added value or done something of great importance or have used my tongue in such a way where it hasn't caused anyone great harm, or I'm not just venting behind my phone screen because I feel like, and I don't care who read or who watch or who listen. Just really take the time to consider. And as you consider, think about how you can make a change. And the way you can make a change is in the rest of the scripture that talks about the wisdom that comes from God. If you are wise and understand God's ways, prove it by living an honorable life, doing good works with the humility that comes from wisdom. But if you are bitterly jealous, I love Breeze, but right now, if you are bitterly jealous and there is selfish ambition in your heart, don't cover up the truth with boasting and lying. For jealousy and selfishness are not God's kind of wisdom. Such things are earthly, unspiritual, and demonic. For wherever there is jealousy and selfish ambition, there you will find disorder and evil of every kind. So this is really just talking about the difference between our wisdom and the wisdom that comes from God, right? And when you exercise God's wisdom, it really makes a difference in the things that you say. And that's why I pull on this verse. It's easy to get up and say, no, go talk about something that's just bothering me. And I'm just going to just tell it to the world and But God's wisdom will always be the best bit for our mouth. It will always be the best bit for our mouth, for our tongue, because we cannot control it. We can't control the things that we say. But if we exercise wisdom, if we, sit and think about what I have to say and think about the implications, think about the effects, I think it will go a great deal in how our digital footprints look like going forward. Let your social voice be heard, but always remember that there is power in that tongue, and we want to use that power for good. We want to use that power for good. Thank you guys so much for listening, and if you have any thoughts, please don't be afraid to share them in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. What has your social voice sounded like, and how do you intend on improving it? And if there are any scriptures that you'd like to share about this, please feel free to share them. I will see you guys next week, or not, because I don't post consistently.